Welcome back guys, welcome back to my channel. In this video, I will show you guys how you can install AutoGPT the easiest method. There are so many methods you can install, but most of them are very complex and they are not really friendly towards people who are not coders or who know how to use programming language and stuff like that. So this method, you only need one code, then you are good to go. And in this video, I will show you guys how you can install and also how you can customize for your day-to-day task. Okay, in the next video, I will show you guys an actual working version of AutoGPT and real task it does for me and how you can do that on your own. Okay. Alright guys, so before you install AutoGPT from the GitHub, you need to have two things first. First thing, you need to install the Python. Okay, to install Python, you can go to python.org and go to downloads. In here, you can download for your Windows or for Mac. You can download any of these versions. I have already downloaded and installed the latest version, so I don't need to do that. If you want to install, you can just simply download and follow the instruction. Okay, next thing, you need to have an account in OpenAI. Go to platform.openai.com. In here, you need to create a new account, and also, unfortunately, you need to have a API key. To get an API key, you need to have a paid account. Okay, I will show you guys how to set up all those things in a while. First, let's go and install our AutoGPT agent. Okay, all right. To install, what I will do is go to your folder where you want to install. In my case, I'm going to install in my E drive. I'm the AI stuff. Under GPT, I'm going to create a new folder. Okay, in here I can simply create a new folder. I'm going to rename this folder as Auto Post Generator. All right, you can rename this anything you want. In my case, I'm going to create the AutoGPT to create posts to my website. Okay, all right. So once you created this folder, just double click and open this one, and then you can simply go in here into your taskbar and type our shell. You don't even need to complete. You can see the Windows PowerShell is in here already, but we need to run this as administrator. So right click and run as administrator. You can simply click this one in here as well. So once you click, it will give us this message. You just say yes, which will open up this command prompt in here. Okay. So now first thing what we need to do, we need to go into this folder. To do that, I'm going to make this a little bit bigger. Okay, hopefully you guys can see these codes. First, you go back to your folder where you want to install your AutoGPT and select and copy the path. Okay, then if you remember the old DOS command, just type in cd and space quotation mark, and inside the quotation mark, place the URL you copied, file URL, and enter. Now you can see we are inside AI stuff, which is this folder in here, and AutoGPT and Auto Post Generator, which is our folder. All right, now next thing we need to do is we need to install the AutoGPT from this link in here. Okay, to do that, there are so many complex methods. Easier method is just go back in here and type this code below. IEX space, then bracket, open bracket, and IRM space autogpt.tc.ht, then close the bracket. You guys can get this code below under the description. After you type correctly, just enter. If you type this correctly, and in here you can see we have entered correctly, and it's giving you the welcome message and the version number. And then in here it's also saying using OpenAI's API costs money as well as a lot of others. Remember to set up usage limit. I will show you guys how to set up your usage limit in a while. If you see this message, you have done everything correctly. Just press enter or any key in here. It will start to install the GPT inside that folder. All right, so now you guys can see our OpenAI is already installed. It also detected the Python is already installed in here. If you don't install the Python, it will ask you to install the Python first. After that, you will come to this place where enter your OpenAI key. This is where you need a paid account in OpenAI to get the API key. All right. So you can simply go into the platform.openai.com. In here, you need to sign up first. You can sign up for free. After that, you need to go into your account settings. In here, you will see an upgrade option. Set up your paid account. After you set up your paid account, you can go to usage limit. It should be under, all right, it should be under billing and overview. You can set up a usage limit under here. Okay, so in here, by default, I think you should see $120. If you want to limit it for testing purposes, in here, I have set up a hard limit as $10. So when it reach $10, it will automatically stop using it. And you can set up a soft limit. I set up $8. Basically, it will send you an email notification saying we have reached the soft limit. All right. So after that, you can decide whether to increase or continue. Okay. So always set up a hard and soft limit. If not, you won't know OpenAI, especially AutoGPT, will keep on creating new prompt. Every time when you create a prompt, there is charges. It's not free. Okay. That's how they make money. All right, guys. Hope this part is clear. Now let's go back to our API keys in here and create a new key. All right. So in here, you can give a name. This is optional. Also, I'm just going to create a name temp AP auto key. Okay. I'm just going to create this and I'm going to delete this later on because I will show you guys the keys. Even if you guys use it, it's not going to work. Okay. So I'm just going to create a new key and in here, you can see it has created a new key. Now, simply you can copy this and go to your PowerShell and here type the key which you are copied and press enter. Now it's asking for 11 lab API key. So 11 lab basically you can make the response in here as a speech. Okay, it will speak back to you. So if you have a 11 labs account, you can create your own voice and get the API key from there and enter the key. Okay, so that one also it's going to cost you money. I don't think it's very important. If you guys want, you can go in and create a API key in Lemon Lab and then paste it in here. Then you can listen to whatever it's saying with whichever voice you will like. So I'm just going to type enter in here to skip. And then it's asking you, would you like to use the Brain TTS instead? Also similar, I don't want it. If you guys want, you can set up an account in here. I'm just going to press N and enter. All right. So now Pinecone API for memory. Okay, so the Pinecone API is basically how the AutoGPT is going to save its memory. All right. So you can create a Pinecone API setup if you want and enter the API key in here. If you don't use it like this, don't worry, you can still use it. Instead of using the Pinecone API, it's going to save your memory, whatever it does in here as a JSON file and read it from there. Okay, so I'm just going to ignore this one also and I'm going to say enter again. All right, so now it has moved on to the next portion and it will create our memory in here inside this folder as autogpt.json. Okay. The next thing in here is asking you to create a Google API key. Google will limit the search key. So if we reach certain number of searches again and again, it will give this error. So that's why asking you to set up a Google API key. Okay, so you can create a Google API key. You can go and search Google how to create a Google API key. And for this example, I'm not going to create, but basically if you want your AutoGP to be more successful, I recommend you guys to create a Google API key also. Okay, once you have the key, you just paste it in here. In this example, I'm just going to ignore and say enter. Okay, next one in here is another API keys. Yeah, I know you need to give a lot of API keys so you can use all the features. So I recommend you guys, based on your usage, to create API keys, especially if you want to create image generation, you need to create a API key in here using DALI. So you can see in here by default, AutoGPT use DALI from OpenAI for image generation. Okay, do you want to use the Hugging Face for stable diffusion instead? You can go to this link and find out. I'm just going to say no for this one. Okay, let it use the default DALI. So I'm just going to leave it blank and enter. And then lastly, it's asking you, do you want to create a desktop shortcuts? Okay, if you create a desktop shortcut, you can open directly in with your desktop shortcut. Maybe I'm just going to create a desktop shortcut. For this example, I'm just going to say Y for yes and enter. Okay, so now it's downloading the icon and now it's starting the AutoGPT. Okay, if we go to our desktop in here, we should see the AutoGPT. Okay, so it's in my other screen. Actually, it's in here. All right, so I'm just going to paste it in here. Let's go back to our code editor. Sorry, command prompt in here. Okay, so you can see now we have successfully installed the OpenAI, and in here it has default set of instruction where it comes from the GitHub. Okay, so you can just run as it is, or you can customize these for your requirements. Okay, the first thing it's asking you, enter a name for your AI and its role below. Okay, entering nothing will draw the default function. Okay, the default name is entrepreneur GPT. Okay, let's name this one as blog GPT. Okay, so let's say I want to create a blog post for my website. I can use this. Okay, you can name anything you want. I'm just going to call this blog GPT and enter. All right, so now you can see it has changed to block GPT here, and I'm at your service. And in here, it's asking what type of role you want this to be. Okay, so now we are going to define the roles in here. All right, so what type of roles we are going to say? Okay, let's say we want to create a website, right? The website is going to be based on something, let's say cryptocurrency, right? So I want to search the web for cryptocurrency and summarize the latest news and create articles based on that. And then I also want it to create images for each of these articles and post automatically into my website. So let's say this is what I want, right? So I can just put in the prompt in here. But instead of just typing here, if you're really doing this for uh, your project, I recommend you guys to create a new Google Sheet every time you use anything related to prompts. So I'm just going to go in and go to my Drive. I'm going to create a new Google Doc. All right. In here, we can put a project name. Let's say Web Auto Update. Okay, uh, just a sample name here. I'm not going to use this, but I'm just showing guys how you can do this. Okay, so first we need to give the roles. Okay, let's type a role one by one. First thing I want to do is search internet for latest crypto related news and articles. Okay, second one, compile a list of latest articles and create our own news blog post inside our inside our webs let's say WordPress website. Create images relevant relevant images for each article using AI, and then finally maybe post articles into our WordPress website. Okay, so these are the roles we are going to give. So I'm just going to copy the first role in here and type it in here. Okay, all right. Oh no, the first is not a goal actually. First supposed to be what we supposed to do, but it's correct anyway, right? Search internet for latest crypto related news and article should be correct, right? Then let's go in here and copy the second goal and paste it in here. Okay, it will ask you the second goal again. I'm going to select this and paste it in here. And again, the third one, post articles into our website and paste it in here. And fourth one, maybe post those article links into Twitter, into our Twitter account. All right. And then just simply enter. It's asking you another goal. You can just ignore this one and enter again. Now it will start working on its magic. Okay, now you can see it's starting to think. Now what it's doing is it's looking through our goals and what we are going to do and going to come up with the plan how to execute these goals. Okay, right. So let's wait for it to finish. Okay, so now it's giving you the thoughts and a plan and the reasoning. Okay, so what we ask, it's pretty clear, right? So I don't need to explain it to you again. And in here it's giving you, I think the first step, we should search the internet for latest cryptocurrency related news article. This will give us a good structure point for our blog post. Okay, and then the reasoning is giving you the reason. Search the internet for latest cryptocurrency news article will give a good structure for our blog post, blah 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 blah. And then the plan, it's giving you the full plan what it's going to do. First, it's going to search the internet, then compile a list of latest article and create own news blog post inside our WordPress website and create relevant images for each article using AI, whatever we tell earlier, and all the things in here. And then it's giving you a criticism. I need to ensure that I am efficient in my search and that I am selecting relevant article to include in our blog post. Okay, also need to ensure that the images I create are relevant, which is correct, right? And then in here it's creating a new action command. Google argument is cryptocurrency news. Basically it's going to search in Google for using the cryptocurrency news. Okay, now we can select Y to continue and no to don't continue and N to close the program. So I'm just going to enter Y and select enter. All right, so now it got the command. It's going into the next step. Okay, all right, so it's what it doing is it got the answer from Google. So command Google is return. In here, it's giving you all the latest cryptocurrency articles, what it thinks. So now it's thinking what it's going to do with this information. All right. Okay, so now it is giving its thoughts. It says, I suggest we browse the website of Coindesk, Crypto News, CoinMarketCap, New York Times, Yahoo Finance, all these websites to get the article. It's giving its reasoning. Browsing the website of Coindesk, Crypto News, CoinMarketCap, New York Times will give us a good idea about all those things, blah, blah. And I will make our blog post more engaging, visually appealing. The plan, it's giving you a plan. All right. So now you guys can keep on entering and continue in here. But in here you have to type in every single time what to do, and it will ask you to type in yes or no every single time, which is not, it is okay for certain things, but if you want it to run automatically, it's not the case. You want it to run it on its own and find out the problems and create own prompts and solve the problem for us, right? So in here what we can do is actually we can close this now. All right, I'm just going to close this. All right, so instead of closing like this, what I will do is I'm going to give a command. Okay, I'm just going to give N and enter, so it will exit this. All right, now we have exceeded this, and we can simply close this. Now I'm going to minimize. Let's go back to our folder. Okay, so this is the folder we have installed, right? And in here you can see we have another option, run continuous.bat. So basically what it does is whatever we already set up, we can run this one automatically. Okay, so if you double click and open this one, you can see it's starting the command again. And I'm just going to minimize this. Let's make it full screen. Now it says in here, it's giving you a warning first. Continuous mode is not recommended because it potentially dangerous, because again the same reason. It can run forever. It can cost you a lot of money. That's why you always need to set up your limitations. Okay, and if you went crazy, you can, if you cannot stop from here, if you create a new API key, you just delete the API key. All right, so we are covered from that side. So I'm going to check this one is okay. Block GPT and search internet for articles, everything is correct. Now I only need to say why and enter. Now it will go on forever until it figure out and completely fulfill our task. All right, so it's going to take some time, guys, so I'm going to make this part a little bit faster, and you guys can slow down and play what is really going on, and I will explain what we can do afterwards. All right, guys, I have run the AutoGPT continuous updating for about half an hour now, and you can see we have reached. There has been a lot of things happening here. So let's go in and see what it has done so far. All right. So we have started from here, right? So after our command, it lists down all our requirements, and what it does first thing in here is you can see thoughts. Okay, so now we have list the relevant articles, so it's already search Google and list down all the articles. It says browse through them and select the one that are most informative and relevant to our readers. So all these things are automatically written by the AutoGPT. So it understood the assignment, and then it says we should also use the generate image command to create relevant images for each of the articles. Once we have select the articles and generate the images, all right, and then we can use the write to file command to create a blog post using the compile list of articles. Finally, we can use the send tweet command to post an article linked to our Twitter account. So it is thinking how to go forward with our goals. And then it also gives the reasoning in here. Browsing through the article will help us to select the most informative and relevant ones for our readers. Generating readers relative images will make the blog post more visually appealing and engaging. Creating a blog post using the compiled list of articles will help us organize the information and present in a clear and concise manner. Posting the article links on our tweets account will help us reach a wider audience on our increased engagement. You can see all these things I never say. It already figured out how to get engagement, how to generate images, how to get the most relevant article. And then it give a plan how to achieve these thoughts and reasoning. The plan is use list of articles from the previous step to browse through a selected to select the most informative and relevant ones. Use the generate image command to create images and so on. All right, and then it has created the next action. It also created the criticism. I need to ensure that the articles I selected are informative and relevant to our readers. Okay, and in here it has created the next action command, browse the website argument. It has browsed these websites in here, this website coindesk.com, and question which article are most informative and relevant to our readers. And it has used these developer tools. It has used the ChatGPT to find out more information. And this, because of the limitation of ChatGPT, you can see it has divided into different parts and go through with all of them. And after it finished, the system gave the command browser website written. So basically, what it does is answering the gathering information. As an AI language model, I cannot determine which articles are not informative. Okay, so it basically go and ask the ChatGPT, gave all the articles it read through, it search, and it used the ChatGPT to understand which are the most relevant. And ChatGPT came back and say, I cannot determine which articles are most informative and relevant to your readers. Okay, it's depend on that. So it gave this answer. So based on this answer, it come up with this thought in here again. Since I cannot determine which articles are most informative and relevant to our readers, we will need to manually browse through an articles. Okay, so it's deciding. Okay, we cannot automatically decide which are relevant. You have to manually read through the articles and newsletters. Okay, so in here, based on this information, is come to a conclusion that it cannot use ChatGPT to determine which are the most relevant articles. So the final thoughts after this action is, since I cannot determine which articles are relevant, I'm going to go through with the most manually it's going to read. And in here it's giving you the thoughts again. It cannot read the articles, it cannot define which is the most important articles. We can use the write to file command to create. So all the action what needed to be done. Then reasoning, it's giving you the reason, then it create another plan in here. Okay, so let's bring it down in here. So the plan is manually browse through the articles and select the ones that we think are most relative. Now doing the next action, command do nothing arguments, command do nothing returns no action performed. Thoughts, we will now need to manually browse through. Okay, because it's not going automatically, it's going to use manual plan. And then again it gives you the plan, again do the action in here, use ChatGPT, and then after this action it came up with this thought. Now that we have manually browsed through the articles, it's already manually browsed through the articles, and we can use the generated image command. So the article you already created, it already manually browsed through and decided which articles to use. Now it's going to use the image command. Okay, so the plan is to use generate image command to create relevant image for each article. All right, and it's figuring out how to create the image for relevant article, and all these things and thoughts it went through, and finally it come up with the plan, sign up for API key for Open AI DALL-E. Okay, so it's going to create its own API key to create images. All right, so then it will go and search internet how to do that. So basically what we are doing in here is training our AutoGPT to fulfill our goals. All right, so it's still in the midst of figuring it out. Basically, this version is still trying to learn how it can fulfill the goals and achieve the tasks we have given them. All right, guys, so I'm just going to delete this because this private key, this API key is public now. I'm not going to use this, but I will show you guys actual working version with customized tasks and how you guys can use it to do your day-to-day tasks. All right, so in the next video I will show you guys how you can use it and how you can customize the file and the outputs and so on. All right, okay, see you guys in the next video.